Senator, I didn't politicize ASIP. I depoliticized it. The Congress has been investigating ASIP.
All over the country, Mr. Secretary, scientists and doctors are saying otherwise.
Right now on KGW, a recap of the tense Senate hearing with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his heated exchange with an Oregon senator. Plus, the start of the school year still on hold in the largest district in Southwest Washington. Why striking workers rejected the latest contract offer from Evergreen Schools. Then later, in this week's edition of Grants Getaways, we are headed off the beaten path near Sauvie Island to find a little-known state park that's all about peace and quiet. KGW News at noon starts right now. First at noon, the former Alaska Airlines pilot accused of trying to shut down a plane's engines in the middle of the flight over Portland has just pleaded guilty. This is video of Joseph Emerson arriving to federal court with his attorney this morning. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm China Green. Emerson pleaded guilty to one federal count of interfering with a flight crew. He is now headed to another hearing this afternoon in Multnomah County Court. Now, 2 years ago, Emerson was riding off duty in the cockpit of a Horizon Air flight when he allegedly tried to shut down the plane's engines. Crew members had to restrain him, and the plane made an emergency landing in Portland. Emerson said that he took psychedelic mushrooms a couple of days earlier and that he hadn't slept in over 40 hours. We'll bring you updates from the second hearing when we have them on KGW.com and on KGW News at 4. Also happening right now, students across the U.S. are set to walk out of class to protest gun violence and demand legislative action on gun reform. This is a live look at Westland High School, where students are set to protest. The action was organized by Students Demand Action in response to the August shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Supporters are calling for what they call an assault weapons ban, among other gun safety measures, and urging lawmakers to protect students. Meanwhile, the school year is still on hold in the largest district in Southwest Washington after a group of striking workers rejected the latest contract offer from Evergreen Schools. So that means today is the 8th day of canceled classes for kids and teachers in the district. The district striking classified staff include bus drivers and paraeducators. The union says that those workers' demands aren't being heard, but the district says that there's only so much they can do with a $26 million budget shortfall over the next 3 years.
Keep throwing empty thank yous at us, which aren't even things that we've bargained for at the table at all. Like throwing us stipends as like a thank you isn't anything that we've been negotiating in the first place.
The latest offer included a 12.5% increase for paraeducators over 3 years and a 9.5% increase for maintenance and service workers for the same time period. The district says they've been bargaining with the union since March, reaching 35 tentative agreements, but still no overall deal. And then there is no school again for the La Center School District today. Teachers are striking there. The union is negotiating with the district on a new contract, with the primary push being for better pay. Negotiations are set to continue this evening. All right, we are headed over to Chris McGinnis now for a look at weather.
Yeah, and you know what? Radar has been active. China, the bark a little worse than the bite here. I don't think this is terribly heavy for most of us, but we do have some yellows and oranges now showing up on the map here. So over towards, say, I-205, Johnson Creek Boulevard, down towards West Lynn. This band of showers now working its way northward. In fact, I can show you the progress that it's made over the last 60 minutes. No lightning detected in this latest batch of showers. We did have some thunder earlier today in the gorge and down into portions of Clackamas County and Marion County as well, but not the case as we go through the last couple of hours. There has not been any lightning reported in this band of cells working its way through our area right now. Once that does so, I think that's going to be it for our rain chances for this afternoon. In fact, you can actually see some clearing from our Wells Fargo camera off to the right of your screen. So from this perspective, that's to the south. 65, though, last check at the airport. By the way, the dew point is 62. For Portland standards in the summer, that is sticky. So it's muggy out there for sure. Visible satellite imagery shows kind of a real clear back edge of the clouds and the precip. You get down towards, say, Salem, and the sky is actually clearing out right there over our state capital, and the temperature responds accordingly. So with that in mind, despite the cloud cover that we have over the metro area right now, I think within the next 2 hours or so, the sky's going to clear and we're going to quickly shoot that temperature up. So China, what that means is that temperatures in the low 80s and dew points in the 60s. It's going to be sticky this afternoon. We've got a cooling trend for the weekend and then legit widespread rain, we think, in our 7-day forecast. More on that in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Chris. Now to some of your other local headlines. Washington County detectives say they believe there may be more victims linked to a man already facing multiple sexual assault and kidnapping charges. In July, sheriff's deputies arrested Drew Hendricks right there, accusing him of kidnapping a 20-year-old woman and sexually assaulting her at his home in Aloha. They also suspect he abused an 80-year-old man in the same house. In addition to that, Hendricks was recently indicted in Columbia County for sex abuse and kidnapping. The sheriff's office says Hendricks used to own a motor company in Portland and was the subject of numerous complaints over years, with women often commenting on his, quote, predatory behavior, and was placed under multiple stalking and restraining orders. Since his arrest in July, the sheriff's office says it's received dozens of phone calls and interviewed a number of people about Hendricks' behavior. Detectives are asking anyone with information to give them a call. In Tillamook, State Representative Cyrus Javity announced that he is switching parties, leaving the Republicans to run for re-election as a Democrat. Javity says that he believes too many extremists have taken over the GOP. He said in a statement, quote, "I'm not leaving my principles, just aligning with people who still share them, still show up to govern, and are more interested in bipartisan solutions than obstruction." Meantime, yesterday, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was grilled on Capitol Hill by senators on both sides of the aisle. Secretary Kennedy had an especially heated exchange with Oregon Senator Ron Wyden. Here's KGW's Alma McCarty with a recap.
On Thursday, it didn't take long before Robert F. Kennedy Jr. clashed with senators during a committee hearing on Capitol Hill.
Under President Trump's leadership, we at HHS are enacting a once-in-a-generation shift from a sick care system to a true health care system that tackles the root causes of chronic disease.
While the health secretary touted this as an achievement, lawmakers pushed back against his actions, from efforts to restrict vaccines to the turmoil at the CDC. Here's Senator Ron Wyden, ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee.
It's been obvious from the start that Robert Kennedy's primary interest is to take vaccines away from Americans. During his confirmation process, he claimed to be pro-safety and pro-science, but his actions reveal a steadfast commitment to elevating junk science and fringe conspiracies.
Strong statements that soon turned into a sparring match between the two. Wyden questioning Kennedy's decision to fire and replace all the members of the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, the panel that develops vaccine recommendations.
This critical advisory panel has lost scientific credibility. After years, colleagues, we spend so much time.
Senator, I didn't politicize ASAP. I depoliticized it. The Congress has been investigating ASAP.
All over the country, Mr. Secretary, scientists and doctors are saying otherwise.
Washington Senator Maria Cantwell bringing up the West Coast state's newly formed Health Alliance, a partnership that will announce its own vaccine guidelines.
You don't want to support that. You don't want to support that evidence. So yes, the governors of the West, Washington, Oregon, and California, will take up the efficacy of science.
Afterward, the president praised RFK for his hearing performance.
If you look at what's going on in the world with health, and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. Senator Wyden also requested that Secretary Kennedy be formally sworn in as a witness, so yesterday's testimony would be delivered under oath, but the committee chair rejected that request. Meanwhile, Hawaii is joining Oregon and Washington, California in that West Coast Health Alliance they were just talking about there. The team up is designed to give states more control over public health guidelines, particularly around vaccines in response to the shakeup at the CDC. The coalition says it will rely on guidance from national medical associations and be, quote, grounded in science, not ideology.